The United States should have Greenland as part of the United States. There's no need to even think or talk about this in the context that you're asking of a military operation.
We've got some wild accusations here. Welcome back to Moose and Loose. My name's David. Today, we've got a CBC pundit claiming that Pierre Poilievre is compromised. There's more mud being slung his way. We've got a bunch of updates here. We've also got Donald Trump trying to acquire Greenland. He's pushing hard on this. And what does Carney do? He tries to piss him off. Let's jump into this. Starting this one off, we got Shreya Teest here pointing out how the Liberals are in free fall in Quebec as the NDP surges in the province. So he's got this modeled out here. Yeah, you can see the NDP support surging in Quebec. And yes, Liberals are in a nosedive. Bloc has gone up, Conservatives have gone down a little bit. Not like that really matters in Quebec. Moving ahead, we've got Mark Carney's big expensive picture here, flying over the big gas guzzling jet to take photo with all these buffoons. Coalition of the willing. Funny enough, is that Jared Kushner? Looking at it here, I can't even find Carney. Where is he? Took me like 20 seconds. He's over here with a big cheeky grin. Of course he is. Moving ahead, we've got table salt with this one. Breaking U.S. officials have sought direct talks with Greenlandic government, possibly to offer the compact of free association similar to one of the USA has with the Marshall Islands. This is turning into a real thing here. They're trying to make a deal with Greenland. There's a lot of mud being slung by the CBC. It's getting outrageous. It's like wall-to-wall coverage today on this stuff. First, we've got this one, Brian Lilly responding to Donald Trump's tweet here. I'm pleased to announce that the interim authorities in Venezuela will be turning over between 30 and 50 million barrels of high-quality sanctioned oil to the United States of America. This oil will be sold at market price, and that money will be controlled by me as President of the United States to ensure it is used to benefit the people of Venezuela and the United States. I've asked Energy Secretary Chris Wright to execute this plan immediately. It will be taken from storage ships and brought directly to the loading docks of the United States. Thank you for your attention on this matter. So Brian Lilly saying, put this into context, Canada sells about 4 million barrels a day to American market. So that's about 7.5 to 12 and a half days of Canadian oil. This is just a start. Mark Carney says Canada is fine because we are low risk. Really? I don't know. It is starting to happen already. Jumping ahead here, we got Nate Erskine-Smith. He's getting into this Maduro business here, coming out with his own little video. It's in Canada's interest when international law is respected. Of course he's going to back Maduro in this situation.
A fake pretense of drugs to impose illegal tariffs one day, and a fake pretense of drugs to oust a dictator the next. But of course, the pretense was dropped immediately because there is no quiet part anymore.
We're going to take back the oil that frankly, we should have taken back a long time ago.
As former UN Ambassador Bob Ray aptly put it, leaders unhinged from the rule of law and morality pose a threat to us all. It is in Canada's interest when international law is respected. When might makes right, we are at greater risk.
Okay, we've had enough of this. This Maduro supporter can go have fun with all his NDP friends. It's absolutely absurd even bringing up this whole international law thing when we're talking about Maduro. I mean, what about Kim Jong-un? Do you draw the line there, or would you be fighting back against Trump if he went and captured him too? Jasmine with this, I don't remember you complaining when they got Osama bin Laden. Very true. I mean, the same thing with Kim Jong-un. Would he be complaining? These guys are unbelievable. Moving over to this story about Greenland. Donald Trump trying to make a push to make it a territory, a 51st state. Who knows?
Also tonight, the Trump administration stating in no uncertain terms that it is considering a variety of options on possibly acquiring Greenland and that the deployment of the United States military is not off the table. Of course, this is coming just days after the military's successful capture of Venezuela's leader, Maduro. President Trump has made it well known that acquiring Greenland is a national security priority of the United States, and it's vital to deter our adversaries in the Arctic region. The president and his team are discussing a range of options to pursue this important foreign policy goal, and of course, utilizing the U.S. military is always an option at the commander-in-chief's disposal. Now, Greenland is more than 830,000 square miles. It's got a lot of natural resources, including rare earth minerals, which are increasingly crucial to the global economy. It's a former Danish colony and now an autonomous territory of Denmark. Today, America's major European allies expressed support for its current status, saying Greenland belongs to its people. And it's up to Greenland and Denmark to decide its future. Denmark's prime minister says that Greenland does not want to be part of the United States, though President Trump has been talking about this, as you know, for some time.
We need Greenland from a national security situation. It's so strategic. Right now, Greenland is covered with Russian and Chinese ships all over the place. We need Greenland from the standpoint of national security, and Denmark is not going to be able to do it.
Greenland should be part of the United States. The president has been very clear about that. That is the formal position of the U.S. government.
Right, but can you say that military action against Greenland is off the table?
The United States should have Greenland as part of the United States. There's no need to even think or talk about this in the context that you're asking of a military operation. Nobody's going to fight the United States militarily over the future of Greenland.
It's true. Nobody is going to fight the United States over Greenland. Something to look at with Greenland and the size of it, because that map they're showing it there makes it look gigantic. This website here, the truesize.com, you can take a country and move it around on the map, and as you get to the top of the globe, it stretches it, and that's what's happened with Greenland. It's stretched up here, which is why it looks so big. So if you compare it to Greenland, yeah, probably another 50% landmass to America.
Well, tonight, a source tells CNN that Secretary of State Marco Rubio has told lawmakers the Trump administration is considering buying Greenland and that he's downplaying concerns about U.S. military intervention in the short term. The president says he'll control this money made from those 30 to 50 million barrels of sanctioned Venezuelan oil, and that'll benefit the people of both Venezuela and the U.S. Is it clear to you at all how that would work, exactly what that actually means?
No, and I'm not even sure it's clear inside the administration what they would do with the money made from this oil. This is very real, this deal that is coming together to deliver this oil from Venezuela, tens of millions of barrels to the United States. I've been talking to some officials about this tonight, Anderson. And basically what I'm told is that a majority of this is already produced and stored in barrels right now. It's actually, a lot of it's on boats currently. It's headed for U.S. facilities in the Gulf. That's where it's going to be refined. And they're basically making the argument that the reason this is happening so quickly is that it can't be stored for very long. It's very heavy crude that comes out of Venezuela. But I do think the question going forward is this one step of many that is going to happen going forward? Is this what the new U.S. relationship with Venezuela is going to look like, and what the president plans to do with the profits from that Venezuelan oil that he says is being handed over to the United States? And so
it's a lot of questions here, for sure. I mean, even how the government's going to work in Venezuela. Got this article here on BBC. It says opposition leader Machado says she should be in charge of Venezuela. I agree. I mean, she was the opposition leader. She was basically forced to not be able to run. They took away her power to be an opposition leader, and then she endorsed Edmundo, and then they came after him. So then he fled to Spain. I think Maria Corina Machado should be the leader of Venezuela. It's just a matter of transitioning that. I'm sure she would work with the Trump administration for freeing them from Maduro. But right now, I'm not sure exactly what's going on with Trump in America and all this oil and stuff, or Greenland for that matter. And we've got Mark Carney responding here. This is absolutely absurd. So first, we'll just look at the clip here. How did Mark Carney respond to Donald Trump saying he wants to buy Greenland or make a deal or make them a treaty?
You are about to host our Minister of Foreign Affairs, actually in Greenland, Minister of Foreign Affairs, and our Governor General, who represents Canada, will be visiting in the start of February.
He's going to be sending Anita Nand over there to Greenland. And as we can see from Anita Nand's own post here, it says, I will be in Nuuk in the coming weeks to officially open Canada's consulate and mark a concrete step in strengthening our engagement in support of Denmark's sovereignty and territorial integrity, including Greenland. This is hilarious because Denmark annexed Greenland. Like, you can't make this stuff up. She's going to put all this stuff about territorial integrity and sovereignty, like, get real. Back in 1953, Greenland was a colony of Denmark. Denmark changed the constitution to make Greenland a county of Denmark. It's constitutional annexation. They didn't have a choice in the matter. They annexed the country. Denmark is guilty of what they're accusing Donald Trump and America of right now, wanting to annex both, Canada and Greenland. On top of that, Brian Lilly points this out quite well. Greenland has a population of less than 60,000 people for the entire country, but the Carney government will open a consulate and appoint a consul general across the entire United States. We have 13 consulates for a population of more than 340 million and is our biggest trading partner. Madness. Yeah, Mark Carney, what he's doing here is trying to stick it to Donald Trump. He's like, oh, we're going to open a consulate there. You can't go buy that and take it over, as if he has some sort of power. And as he mentions, for 60,000 people. Meanwhile, America, 13 consulates for 340 million. So in America, that works out to be 26 million people per consulate versus 60,000 for the one in Greenland. Carney seems to just doing everything possible to try to push back against Donald Trump. I mean, his initial response to Maduro there, he was trying to lean on the lefty NDP side and be like, oh, this nonsense here, in keeping with our longstanding commitment to upholding the rule of law, sovereignty, and human rights. Canada calls on all parties. He's calling on Donald Trump to respect international law. Wouldn't want to put Maduro behind bars, and then he flip-flops the next day saying it was a good thing. I mean, this guy can't make up his mind here. But I mean, we've seen what he's done with Palestine, recognizing them when Trump was saying don't. He's doing whatever possible to stick it to him. It's really quite difficult to keep track back of this dog and pony show here. So Mark Carney going to open a consulate when Donald Trump says he wants to buy it. I mean, come on, what is this? More liberal friends are seeking cushy jobs with bonuses covered by taxpayers. I think that might be one of it. So if he opens another consulate, he can get rid of another liberal, you know, send Melanie Jolie or any one of these people out the door and get another one of his banker buddies next to him in one of those chairs. Carney gets up in the morning and asks himself, how can I waste more taxpayer dollars today? This is embarrassing considering he's just about to buy the place. I mean, that's the point. Carney's trying to block this somehow. You can't make up this stuff. PM Carney is costing Canada dearly with his TDS affliction. I mean, we're never going to get a deal. He's intentionally trying to absolutely nuke our own country. Moving ahead, we've got this. Look at this slander fest. We've got Pierre Poilievre getting attacked here once again by Sharon Kerr, of all people. Not a journalist, a former Liberal staffer. Sharon Kerr is saying the dangerous precedent of Poilievre's support for Maduro's arrest. So dangerous. We want to have an awful dictator put in jail now. And look at this one, Andrew Thompson. So before I show you what he says here, this guy, looking at his profile, what do you see? This PNP CBC pundit, as in Power and Politics PNP CBC. This guy's a Power and Politics pundit. This is funny. They shut this account down 2 years ago because they were getting destroyed so badly on X. Account no longer being updated. So what does this CBC pundit have to say about Poilievre? Here's his congratulations capturing Nicolas Maduro. And he replies with, clearly compromised because of his wife's connections to the country, but totally obtuse in terms of what this means for Western Canada's economy. Ideology and zealotry trump everything. Another sign this guy should not get the keys to the cabinet room. This is so wild. Clearly compromised. What's compromised is the CBC. Let's get real. This is so funny. Look at, so Jasmine got one in on here too. Wait. So you guys are supporting pipelines now? And then you can see it's locked down. This guy locked down the comments after he started getting some clap back. And not only that, he got ratioed hard. I mean, look at Jasmine's got 1.5 thousand likes on hers and he's only got 1.1. Canada's got a lot of questionable people. Look at this from the Globe and Mail. We need to prepare for the possibility the U.S. uses military coercion against Canada. Come on, this fear-mongering is unbelievable. It should be against the law to put out garbage like this. Donald Trump is not going to come capture Canada or Mark Carney. Whether we like it or not, Mark Carney did win the last election. He fear-mongered Canadians. He used that very well to scare them into getting votes. A lot of those people are regretting their votes. He won the election, which is why he's prime minister. Donald Trump is not going to swoop in and capture Mark Carney for winning the election. This is ridiculous. The reason why Donald Trump went down, there are numerous reasons. The big one is the people of Venezuela were being held captive by Maduro and the military. Maduro lost the election and seized control of the government illegally 2 years ago. This is a big difference than Mark Carney sadly winning our last election. Mark Carney did win the election. Maduro did not. Technically, he seized the government 2 terms ago. I think it was back in 2018. So there's actually 2 elections that he has refused to accept the results of, that he lost both of. On top of that, he had his goons driving over citizens protesting, ending thousands of people, all sorts of terrible things. It's very different. Canada has lots of corruption, but it doesn't involve a lot of lives being ended by the government directly. So no, Donald Trump is not going to use military force to storm Parliament. The Globe and Mail should be ashamed of themselves. And here we've got a clip from CBC. Look at this kind of filth they're putting on here. More fear-mongering.
Some may take comfort from the fact that the president has not yet said anything publicly one more time about the 51st state. But I, for one, am absolutely convinced that the President of the United States firmly believes that Canada should be part of the United States. End of subject, end of debate. And that is the position that I believe firmly he has. And I think he's articulated it a number of times. And I think it's insulting to us. It's also, frankly, insulting to the American people.
So the media pushing this stuff out at the same time, they want to blur these lines here, trying to scare Canadians that Donald Trump's going to come up with the Apache helicopters and start capturing our political leaders, taking them down to New York jails. That's not going to happen. This is fear-mongering for another election. We're getting ready for another election coming because Mark Carney is in big trouble here. Let's look at this. Gold has overtaken the US dollar as the largest global reserve asset. This is pretty crazy. Good for anyone holding gold.
We're dealing with the people that just got sworn in. And don't ask me who's in charge, because I'll give you an answer and it'll be very controversial.
What does that mean?
It means we're in charge. We were prepared to do a second strike if we needed. We're totally prepared.
But that's off the table.
We're still prepared.
That's off the table now.
No, it's not. If they don't behave, we will do a second strike.
So regarding the strike, I learned about this. It's quite complicated and really impressive. What they did is send in F-35s that were completely cloaked, took out all the Russian anti-air defenses that are actually supported by Chinese satellite dishes. But to land those F-35s, some of them, I think, made a long haul back to Puerto Rico. Some of them had to be refueled in the air by another plane with those big hoses that float up and then they connect to it. And some of them, I think, landed on the aircraft carrier. And then the next wave went in, and then the next wave, and these all coordinated all around the entire country. And then the SEAL team went in and grabbed Maduro. It's really quite impressive. No planes or boats or anything were lost. It's really quite impressive.
Video here of American authorities, for example, bringing Maduro and Flores to a New York City court today, where both pleaded not guilty to criminal charges, including narco-terrorism conspiracy, cocaine importation conspiracy, and the possession of machine guns and destructive devices against the United States. Maduro telling the judge he is a, quote, decent man and still insists he is the president of Venezuela. However, he's been ruling Venezuela as a dictator since losing the country's 2018 elections. Millions have fled that country during his reign, and much of the oil-rich nation now lives in poverty. Meantime, in Venezuela, Maduro's second in command, Delcy Rodriguez, has been sworn in as acting president, backed by the U.S., at least for now. Trump is celebrating the capture of Maduro as a military success, and last night suggested further U.S. action could come with other countries.
Colombia is very sick, too, run by a sick man who likes making coke, selling it to the United States. And he's not going to be doing it very long, let me tell you.
What does that mean? He's not going to be doing it very long?
He's not doing it very long. He has coke mills and cocaine factories. He's not going to be doing it very long.
So there will be an operation.
So I don't know anything about that. I mean, that was the guy that was taunting Trump the other day. So that might not work out well for him.
And by the U.S.
It sounds good to me.
Are you considering U.S. action in Cuba?
We're not going. I think it's just going to fall. I don't think we need any action. It looks like it's going down. Right now, Greenland is covered with Russian and Chinese ships all over the place. We need Greenland from the standpoint of national security. And Denmark is not going to be able to do it, I can tell you.
So, of course, the mainstream media is going to run buck wild with that, as if Trump's going to go invade Greenland. If anything, they're going to move some ships up there and secure the waters around there and get all the Chinese and Russian boats out of there. That's what really is going to happen, not full-scale invasion with Apache helicopters going to the Parliament building and capturing their leader.
With us to dissect the U.S. operation and what could come next is former CIA Director General David Petraeus. The general also led the U.S. military operations in both Iraq and Afghanistan. I wanted to start off, sir, given your extensive experience in both the military and the CIA, by asking about the operation itself. What stands out to you about what unfolded in Venezuela?
Well, how masterful it was, frankly. This is an enormous operation, over 150 aircraft of all different types, launched from 20 different locations, all brought together, having, of course, been exhaustively rehearsed prior to this, but all the actions synchronized, the supposedly sophisticated Chinese and Russian air and ballistic missile defense systems rendered incapable, destroyed. No loss of life on the U.S. side, damage to an aircraft, a couple of soldiers wounded, but really an extraordinarily impressive display of American military power.
I had read on a number of occasions that there was a CIA team that was there since, it could have been since August, essentially tracking the Maduro's movements and accumulating all the intelligence. Can you reflect a little bit on what an operation like that would entail?
Well, let me just reflect on the fact that when you're doing this kind of operation, essentially a manhunt operation, and we've had many examples of this over the recent decades, the operation to bring Osama bin Laden to justice, the operations to take out the top leaders of al-Qaeda in Yemen or Iraq or Islamic State leaders in Syria and so forth. So you establish pattern of life. You understand as much about the activities of the individual and those around him and so forth as you possibly can. And that involves more than just intelligence, human intelligence sources. It involves every technical capability that we can draw on as well, including open source intelligence. But all of this clearly was employed in this case. Reportedly, there was a mock used exactly a model of what it was that housed Maduro and these forces had trained on this model, as they did, of course, prior to the operation to take down Osama bin Laden.
This is crazy. They made a mock model of the facility. I actually saw a video of them doing it. I don't know if it's real or not, so I don't know if I want to put it on the channel, but it's point of view from one of the SEAL team going in, getting him. I'm not sure if the whole thing is fake, but amazing. They train all that, and then they did this whole operation in the black of night. Nothing lost, no vehicles lost, no American soldiers lost, just a couple injuries. I think that's it.